Hey everyone, this is Jen and you're watching BPD Woman. On this channel, you will learn how to more effectively live with your borderline personality disorder. Using my own personal experience, the things that I have learned in the last 21 years in therapy and DBT, combined it with practical tools such as DBT skills, it's my goal to help you better understand and manage your emotions, why they happen when they do, why they happen so intensely, and to give you some tools and insights so that you can lead a more effective life. Focusing in on your goals, or what those in the DBT world called life worth living goals. So whether that's career, family, love, more emotional stability, you're in the right place. I am not a therapist, a life coach, or psychologist, but I can answer one question that all of those folks cannot, which is, what is it like to live with borderline personality disorder? I was diagnosed 21 years ago. I have gone through multiple rounds of DBT. I have read and reread every major textbook and workbook on borderline personality disorder. And I have made a very invested emotional, physical, financial, spiritual approach to my recovery, which has also included years and years of in-session therapy. And it doesn't just stop there. The work continues with you day by day. And so hopefully on this channel, you'll be able to find some insight so that you can work more towards your goals. So if you do have borderline personality disorder, congratulations, because you do have the most treatable of all of the personality disorders, of which there are about 14 or 15. Borderline personality disorder is more thoroughly researched. It's more thoroughly invested with time, money, clinical studies. There are more modalities now, including DBT, to help treat borderline personality disorder. And the studies show that those with borderline personality disorder can definitely hit recovery, remission, which is really the lessening of ineffective or problematic behaviors. So if that sounds good to you, please do hit subscribe and the bell below so you never miss a beat. I produce anywhere from 3 to 5 videos each week. So let's get going. I thank you for your feedback on my previous video, which was entitled the shame cycle. I'll put up a link here. Shame cycle, 3 reasons it happens and 3 reasons to heal it. And I had let in my pets, and a couple of you reached out and said you liked seeing them, so they're in the room again today. One is at my feet with her bone. So if that ever becomes too distracting, I will, for me or for you, I will put them back out in the other rooms. So today I want to talk about something maybe that you have dealt with or experienced as being a problematic behavior. I know I certainly have with this particular subject. And it is called, today's video is called Stop Talking Yourself Out of It. Why we keep changing our mind after we've made a decision. If you have borderline personality disorder, you know that, I wanted to make a note here. When you have borderline personality disorder, you have lower self-esteem. You have an inability to know who your core self is. You find it difficult to validate your own self, your own reality. You look towards others a lot of the time to inform how you're feeling or how you should be looking at an event. You may find yourself bouncing off people like, does this sound crazy? Do you think that this is right? I know I have. I know that I still do that sometimes. And in the course of my therapy over the years, I would make a decision about something. Namely, it would be about a person, a boyfriend, a romantic situation, and I would get rid of this person. I would go into therapy week after week. I would talk about, what this person was doing, how it was making me feel. And without going into a lot of detail, this person was just not healthy for me. Or they were abusive, or they were a turd. They didn't have their life together. They were a leech. They had their own mental health problems that they were not trying to address in an effective manner. And I had a therapist say to me, so I dumped the guy, right? And I said that this is what will happen with me usually. I'll be in a relationship, I'll make a decision, I dump the guy for a, legit reason, something that I've thought on in a wise-minded, regulated state. I'll write a pros and cons list. I'll be very thoughtful in my approach. And then I will start doubting myself. Like, well, was that the right decision to do? Maybe I'll be thinking more about him. Maybe I will think, well, maybe I should give him another chance. Sometimes I let that person come back into my life. Maybe I'll get back together with them. And so I finally had a therapist say, it seems like you make these decisions, you come to an agreement, you've thought it through, and then later you change your mind again. Why is that? And for a long time, I really didn't know why. I might have gotten clues here and there, but today I want to talk about why this is happening is for a few reasons. Primarily, it has to do with the core of this issue has to do with our self-esteem and our self-validation, which I think are the root causes for a lot of the problematic, ineffective behavior that those of us with borderline or complex PTSD experience, right? By nature, we've become unsure of ourselves through years of invalidation or trauma or hypervigilance. We don't trust our judgments. We don't trust our feelings. We don't trust our perceptions. We turn to other people. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Which all of that further information from 4 or 5 other people just kind of further fuels this anxiety within us, when really the answer is within you. And you do have the right answer. It is okay for you to exercise the answer. And you know best. You do know best. Now, you might flip-flop as I did because, again, you feel indecisive. You may feel that other people, I mentioned this in the video about shame cycles. You may think that other people are more of an expert at life than you, that they know more about a situation that you have a problem with. They don't. Oftentimes they don't. And they certainly don't know what's best for you in your life. When you make a decision about something, sometimes you may flip-flop and go back to it and reverse your decision, is also because, at least in my case, you fear your BPD is doing the thinking. And so, perhaps this plays in your mind. Well, I do have BPD. I do tend to think in black and white thoughts. I do have a tendency to burn my relationships. I do have a tendency to run hot and cold. You know what? I should make sure that I'm not doing any of those behaviors, and I should give this person another chance. I should wait and see it out further. I should give them chance after chance after chance. Now, because we do have that extreme thinking, right? It's either this or that. It's either good or bad. They're either in or out, There is some truth in that gray thinking of seeing how things play out for a while, That's why it's not advised. Don't worry, I've done it. I've moved in with people after a month or so. But it's more well advised that, you go on a date with a person once a week. You don't move in with them for 6 months to a year. You have to see how things play out. And that's not something that you can do within the span of a month. People have to earn your trust incrementally. So there is some legitimacy in saying, well, am I doing black and white thinking? Am I being too hasty? Am I being too judgmental of this person? Am I thinking too much in extremes? Okay, well, check yourself, check yourself. But the main way to check yourself is time. So you can gain a pattern of behavior over weeks, months, years, Do they generally go back to drinking? Or is that a one-time thing? Are they generally late for an important event of yours, or do they consistently show up? You know, do they make promises and stick to them, or are they just full of empty promises, right? Do they show up for their own lives? Are they responsible, disciplined people, or are they people who are the opposite of that? They're only going to drag you down in their whirlpool. So seeing how things playing out and giving someone a couple of chances is the effective, gray-minded thing to do. And the best way, the most effective way to make this decision for yourself is when you are in a regulated, wise mind. Remember, when emotion is high, logic is low. So trust yourself, trust your perceptions, trust your thoughts, trust your gut instinct, but trust it when you're in a regulated state of mind. Don't make decisions when you're, flooded and, you're late for work, the car broke down, and now you've decided this is the day that you're going to break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Don't do it, because emotion is high and logic is low, and you have too much going on up here to make an informed decision. Now how I heal myself through this is through self-esteem. It's through creating boundaries. It's through letting people stick to their side of the street with things. I have a friend right now who has been separated from this really unhealthy, drug-abusing, loser ex-husband. They've been married a year, but they've been separated 10 months, right? It's silly. And so she, every day or every other day, she'll pull his messages from the spam folder, she'll pull them from the blocked voicemails, and she wants to share them with me. And, the first few times that she did this, I would say, well, I would give my advice, because she would ask it. You should get a lawyer. You should, look into getting a restraining order. You should, change your number, right? But then after 3 or 4 times of that, I just noticed this pattern of that. Well, she's not really changing this behavior. She's not moving forward on this. It's just becoming kind of like a dumping session for her it's what it appears to be. So this is a boundary, right? It's something that I say, okay, well, I'm not going to put any more energy into helping her solve this problem because she doesn't seem really invested in this problem. So I can't care if she doesn't care enough. And then I stick with my decision. I stick with it. I don't give any more advice. Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. I can be listening, I can be validating, but I also can't hear it all of the time either, right? And eventually I'm just kind of irritated, okay, just do something, just do it, right? So when I had an ex-boyfriend, I've known this guy over 12 years, and it was really messed up at first, and then I didn't see him for 10 years, and he lives in a different country, and so I took a vacation to this country about a year ago, and, on the airplane, I made a list of why I shouldn't see him, why I thought it was a bad idea. And then as soon as I got off that airplane, one of the first things I did was go seek him out. And then we got back together, which ended in tears, and I dumped him. So why, even though I was so cognitive and I knew in my regulated state that, okay, this is the right decision for me, and nothing had changed, I let it play out over a decade. He had chance after chance, and he had too many chances. And that's where we can get ourselves into trouble, because these folks will just pull us down, and we want to go up, and they're going down, and we don't want to get turned into their spin cycle. So this time when I dumped him, though, it was a lot shorter. I didn't let it go on and on. I knew, this is making me feel worse than it is good. In fact, it's becoming a life-threatening situation. I was beginning to feel suicidal, In fact, he said, well, go ahead, kill yourself, right? What? This, if I ever see this guy again, he's getting an elbow and a fist, you know what I'm saying? So it's important to remember emotion is high, logic is low. When I got off that airplane, my emotion was high because I hadn't seen this guy in 10 years. And then I started to talk myself out of it. Well, maybe he'll be different. Well, maybe you were both just drunk and petulant back then. Maybe now it'll be different. Maybe you're both in different places. Okay. And I let that play out for a little while. Not long, a few months. And then in that third or fourth month after that honeymoon wore off, kaboom. I could see that it wasn't, anything was changed. So now that door is permanently closed. And so this is what I want to offer to you. Remember here, the key is your own self-esteem, practicing acts of self-validation. I don't like this person, so I'm not going to answer the phone. That is a self-validation, and you're also creating a boundary for yourself at the same time. Secondly, make decisions about what you want to do and who you want to see when you are in a regulated, wise-minded, calm state. Not when you're PMSing, not when you're hungry, not when you haven't had sleep for a day, not when you've got 20 things going on in your personal life. It's when you're regulated, okay? And the third thing is, yes, be in a gray state of mind. Someone can have a couple of chances and you can see how they play out over a timeline, but a long timeline, not a short timeline. A medium timeline is good. A too long timeline could be detrimental. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you've been asking yourself, why do I keep talking myself out of decisions? Why do I seem to flip-flop? Why do I keep shooting myself in the foot and inviting people that don't, or situations or drugs, alcohol, whatever the thing that you flip-flop on is, why you keep welcoming that back in your life. I hope that this video has been able to answer some of those questions. My name is Jen. You have been watching BPD Woman. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will talk to you soon. And until that time, please be effective. Bye-bye.